The rubber chicken squeals as you pick it up and squeeze it.
Well, you'll have to keep her now. You obviously rub her the right way. Rub her, get it?
That didn't do anything. You practice the old bop yourself on the head with a rubber chicken routine for a while. It smarts. Worse luck. You've managed to knock a branch with some berries loose from the bush. You strip the berries from the loose branch and carefully store them in a pocket in your backpack. It doesn't seem to have any lasting effect on the bush. A feeling of peace and tranquility permeates the area. The hawk flies free, never to be caught by the likes of thee. Spreads to the curtains and the furniture. You better get out of here quickly. You retrieve the Dark One sign from the monastery door, then quickly step away before the Hectopus can react.
If Igor get big hero job, can he be pyromaniac too?
The monastery is toast. You can't do anything with the monastery now that it's burned.
The strangest thing happened. Someone broke into the old monastery and burned the place down. I don't suppose you'd know anything about this. Is it not a coincidence that I smell smoke as you draw near? I keep having this suspicion that you will be getting into even more trouble than you have already. It seems to be your nature. There are rumors that you have entered the monastery before. It was a bad place, and it is good that it is now gone. It looks as if most of the inside was pretty much burned away. It is no great loss to the town and a vast improvement.
You describe the evil, the terrible evil you found within the monastery, and how you felt it was necessary to burn the place to the ground so that the evil would not spread.
Perhaps I should learn to value your judgment. It is a good thing the place is destroyed.
I heard that someone burned down the old monastery. Isn't it strange how you were seen around that building recently? What would you like to know about? I have heard tell you were seen near the monastery not long after the folks noticed the fire. I'm not saying you did it, but I'm glad you did. And that place was a menace to our town.
Your magical lasso floats towards the tree and plucks a single ripe fruit from its branches. You feel a surge of power as the magical energy from the fruit releases itself into your system.
I have been lost so long. I do not know how I can help you. Perhaps you can talk to my friend Olga. She knows everything that goes on in town.
She married Boris Stovich, who owned the shop.
She did? She is such a lovely girl. I'm sure they are happy together. Olga will be able to tell you many things about the town.
I am Boris Stovich.
You hand one of your sandwiches over to the gatekeeper.
An avocado and garlic sandwich? Why, I haven't had one of those for years. You are most kind, but I fear that it would make me homesick.
You tell Olga that the gatekeeper's name is Boris Stovich and ask if they're related.
Aha! So that's where the so-and-so went. Huh? Tell him he's a rotten no-goodnik. Ha! That Noah can't fool. If you see him again, tell him he's a lazy louse and a swamp scum besides.
You tell Boris what Olga said about him. He blushes.
Olga was always opinionated. I grew tired of listening to her complain about me all the time. My wife has been gone for many years now.
You tell Olga that Boris says she complains about him all the time.
Well, if he'd ever been here to get his work done instead of spending all his time carousing at the inn, I wouldn't have had to complain. And you can tell him I said so, huh? Listen, you make sure, and you tell that good-for-nothing how much I resented having to sit here doing his work for him while he was off carousing with those other fools.
Tell him that Olga thinks he was too lazy.
Lazy? What was there to do in a shop with no customers? Once the swamp cut off trade here, we had nothing to sell. I had nothing to do there, so just because I would sit at the inn and talk with the other men, she thought I was lazy. All she ever did was sit around and give me orders when I was in the shop. What was the point of dusting if no one came in the shop to notice the dust? I came here to get away from her constant nagging. According to her, I could do nothing right. Here there is peace and quiet.
You tell Olga that Boris didn't like being ordered around all the time.
Ah, I wouldn't have had to order him around if he would only have done his work. I just wanted the shop to be neat and clean in case anyone came in. How does he expect me to do all the work around here by myself? Yeah, this was his family's business after all. It's not easy getting all the work done here by myself. I may not look it, but I'm not as young as I used to be.
You tell Boris that Olga is having trouble running the shop without him.
There is much to do to keep the shop straightened up. My family always worked together to keep it going before. If only Olga wouldn't nag me all the time. She and I used to enjoy running the shop when we actually had things to sell. What is the point of even running a shop when there is no business? Work, work, work. That was all Olga ever said to me. And it didn't matter what I did. I always did it wrong. And so she would nag. All I wanted was a chance to get away from her voice. I got so tired of being nagged one day that I walked out of town. I walked so long that it was getting dark. Then I met the master and was asked if I wanted the job as gatekeeper. I accepted and have been here ever since.
Tell Olga that Boris doesn't see any reason to keep the shop open when there's nothing left to sell.
No business. You just tell that man about my avocado and garlic sandwiches. People come in and buy them all the time. If Boris talks to you again, you tell him I'm fixing his favorite sandwiches. Avocado and garlic and pumpkin wheat bread. Oh, I used to love those.
You tell Boris about Olga's avocado and garlic sandwiches.
How I used to love her avocado and garlic sandwiches. We had them on our wedding night, you know. You should have seen the garlic and avocado flowers decorating our wedding cake. Oh, beautiful. And she baked the cake herself. Oh, she always was a good cook. You remind me of how much I miss my wife. I shall go back and visit her. I remember our wedding day. She was beautiful in her gown. She had even embroidered little garlic cloves and avocados around the edges. We danced the night away.
Boris came back to visit me. We had a lot to talk about. He says he'll come back again after work. It was nice to see him. Seemed like old times.
You know, it is nice to be able to snuggle with my Olga again on these cold nights. Thank you for getting us back together.
Wonderful, wonderful. I won't have to scuttle in the shadows all the time. I won't have to have unsavory eating practices. Thank you so very much.
It's been said that there's no honor among thieves. Well, you've certainly proven that true in your case. The chief thief, recently recovered from his shape-changing ordeal, dies instantly beneath your onslaught. You don't earn any guild points for pickpocketing corpses. Stick with the live ones, okay? He doesn't look very active. It may have something to do with the fact that you have killed him. You carefully place some of the candy on the ground. You capture a few of the will-o-wisps in a flask. You release the will-o-wisps back into the swamp.